we're about to go somewhere out now. Times to rise and elevation starts to drop down. Our little secret, don't kiss and tell, you're so bad. I'll probably see you in hell. Welcome to hell, baby. This is podcast hell.
All right, welcome to the show. This is Eric. And let me tell you some bullshit that's going on right now. Number one, I don't know if you can hear the loud movie going on in the background, but my wife, Liz Galalis, and frequent podcast guest, Meredith Hackman, are over at my house, and they shit all over this beautiful Phillies uniform that I'm wearing for the podcast when I went downstairs to get the Blink album. Being bullied in my own house, it's infuriating. I might vote for Trump just to spite both of them. I'm thinking about it. And it'll be completely their fault. It will be 100% on them making fun of my Phillies. I'm dressed up for my podcast? Yeah, I'm dressing up. I wore the away grays for you guys. And I walked downstairs, and they're watching Close Encounters of the Third, whatever, that old Spielberg movie. And they're listening to it too loud, and they made fun of me, and I'm pissed, and I'm a little bit flustered, but it's all right. I'll get past it. Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for being here. It's a solo episode, and the main reason for that is that I just got back into town, right? I was with the family, and I had a couple opportunities to shoot podcasts over the last week. I could have done one with my brother while we were at a undisclosed location near a beach. I didn't do that. Could have done one with my boys, who I won't say their names because they have jobs, but I was hanging out with my boys, checking out a Blink concert back on the East Coast, and was going to do a podcast with them, didn't do it. I just, I'm going to enjoy the week home with family, try to protect family time. And some of you guys know what that means, for listeners out there that have a wife, or I guess if you're a lady, maybe you have a husband, but I don't think any ladies listen to this podcast unless their boyfriend is forcing them to. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, no, just like if you're out there and you got a family, you got to protect family time, right? You can't let other things seep in to family time. And I think I'm learning that now, not through having kids, because I don't. Believe it or not, this podcast is my child, and there's never going to be a better argument for abortion than this podcast. No, but my sister has a kid. Yeah, I don't want to interrupt the time I'm having here this week to go do extra work after I got off work, because I was working the whole time. I'm working remote, East Coast hours. So you get off at 5:30. You're like, I want to actually enjoy dinner. I want to play cards. I don't want to go sit in a room by myself at the beach and record a podcast. It's keeping my voice down so I don't upset people in my family, which my podcast upsets people in my family, as it should, as it's intended. So I'm just it was nice to just fully for a week just work my job, see my family, no podcast stuff. But of course that means I'm shooting a podcast last minute on literally the day it's released. I'm going to shoot this, stop, edit it, and release it all within an hour. So you're getting up to date podcasting here on July 30th, whatever day this is supposed to be. I think it's July 30th. Is that what today is? Tuesday, July 30th? Yeah. Well, I'm literally recording it on that day. And, hope you guys are, I don't know. It doesn't even make a difference if I record these things in time, because I'm not talking about anything happening now. There's nothing timely about this. It's not hey, hop into podcast hell so you can hear Eric weigh in on the new NAFTA agreement. Nothing here. This is evergreen. I believe I'm using that word correctly. Evergreen meaning it's good to listen to whenever, I guess I made a Trump reference, but, who cares? Let's talk about the Blink-182 concert that I went to, which was incredible. It was aided by the two buddies I went with, a friend from college, another friend from high school. We all like the same music. I was in a band with one of the guys back in the day, a very bad band, but still a band. And Mark, Tom, and Travis absolutely crushed it. Capital One Arena. I mean, one of the best shows I've ever seen. And definitely aided by the fact that I took Shroom Gummies right before the concert started. And it hit right as they started playing Aliens Exist off of You're Looking at It, Enema of the State. These sunglasses are distracting. But yeah, it was amazing. And I've never really been high at a concert before. I don't know how high I was. Like I like microdosed. I'm a little baby. I'm a little baby. I was scared. But someone was passing it around, the Shroom Gummies. I don't know. Have you guys tried those before? It's pretty cool. I mean, I feel like if anything comes in a gummy package, it's okay. I mean, until they start putting Trank in little cartoon character being like, try me. Your arm will melt off while you're injecting into molded skin. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I feel like it just made it more acceptable for some reason because deep down I'm a little Catholic boy. I don't want to break the rules. But no, I did a little bit of shrooms, and then I did a little bit more at the bar afterwards, and then a little bit more right before I went to bed, and then proceeded to have one of the most fucked up dreams I can ever remember. Of course, like the fucked up dream where it's like, that's the one you're going to remember of all the, the beautiful dreams where I'm just in a meadow making love to my wife. Those go the second I wake up, they're wiped off my hard drive. But yeah, shroom, I don't know, like I'm definitely not a drug guy. I think I've said on this podcast before, I will never, ever take drugs again. But that was ruined when someone at the concert said, do you want to try this? And I said, yeah. I'll always try it if you hand it to me, which is not good. I'm very susceptible to peer pressure. Concerning. But, luckily for me, it was just shrooms and it was just Blink-182. Amazing concert. I cried. I got my tears in, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm not supposed to cry when they play Stay Together for the Kids? I'm not supposed to cry? The album that came out 2 weeks after my parents separated when I was 14, I should have dry eyes for that? It was one of the most hilarious bits I've ever seen someone do on stage. Mark, not a comedian. Mark Hoppus intros Stay Together for the Kids by blaming everybody in the audience for their parents' divorce. I mean, it was so funny. Then followed by like Tom. I mean, I took Shroom Gummies, but Tom DeLonge, he was hopped up on life or somebody blew him backstage, but he was in a great mood. He had some pep in his step at this Blink show. I mean, I'm telling you, he was hopping around. He was doing funny jokes. He was hitting on people in the audience, I think jokingly. But he was like feeling himself. And then when he played Stay Together for the Kids, he hit like an operatic note. Operatic? I don't know. You get what I'm saying, like the opera. He hit a note, and I was like, God damn, it was good, man. It was a great show. And it's interesting with Blink because they're, everybody's like, yeah, they're not that good musicians, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it took them like 30 years, but I think they're actually a good band now. Like, they were doing some cool stuff on stage, and it's very like creative with the way they just put their set list together. They played songs that you don't hear them play often, which was really, really cool. I don't see too many concerts. I'm seeing Newfound Glory in like 2 weeks. No, not 2 weeks. It's like 2 months. It's in October. I mean, I don't go to a lot of concerts, but it's one of my favorite bands, and I had never seen them live. It was incredible. Did I put the album up sideways? No, I didn't. I'm good. All right. Whew. That was almost humiliating. I wouldn't have cared, though. Rest of the week was good. I did see my buddy's cover band for a minute when I was back home, too. Being in a cover band seems like the coolest thing ever, right? Because you don't want to be in a real band. If you're like 40 and you have kids and a wife that you love, you don't want to be doing heroin and banging hookers on the road into your 40s. Like, you just can't do that. So you have to have like a fun band. Like, you have to have like a band with people you can trust, basically. I mean, I don't think I've been on the podcast talking about the Bacon Brothers yet, have I? Did I talk about that last episode? I guess I couldn't have because I was at the beach. I didn't record a podcast since. No, I didn't. Okay, Bacon Brothers. I also saw the Bacon Brothers. I saw 3 concerts since I've last seen you guys. I'm counting them now. The Bacon Brothers are hilarious. It's Kevin Bacon and his brother, Michael Bacon. And Kevin Bacon is very clearly a good-looking Hollywood star in great shape, playing music from the perspective of a rich, good-looking star. And Michael Bacon is his really sad older brother. And that dynamic on stage is one of the most uncomfortable / hilarious things I've ever seen. Because they very clearly have songs that are written by Michael Bacon and songs that are written by Kevin Bacon. Because Kevin Bacon sings half the songs, and his songs are like, hey-o, everybody, put your hands up if you like your life. Here we go. Be happy. Dance around. Kevin Bacon. Like, it's just, he's personable. He's like clapping along. He's playing bongos. He's got a little bit of musical talent, not a ton, but he's got showmanship. He's got charisma. And then his brother is like methed out Bob Dylan. He's like, ooh, I'm old. Me and my wife, we may not have a famous love, but it's a love that exists. Like his music, hibbity-hoo, it's so sad. He's like, Michael Bacon is using a different instrument every time, but the instruments are not cool. He's like, I bet you never heard a song with a kazoo as the primary. It's like, yeah, we didn't want it. The Bacon Brothers, I mean, Michael Bacon looks like he is 135 years old. And Kevin Bacon looks like every night Michael Bacon goes to sleep, he sticks something in his chest to steal 1 year of his life and breathe it back into Kevin Bacon. I guess they're brothers. I don't know what that relationship was like. I don't know how you have a brother who's 50 years older than you. The Bacon Brothers, hilarious. And by the way, go on Spotify and check out Bacon Brothers. I mean, they have tour dates. I mean, this tour date we saw them at, that we were at some beach town in Delaware, and there was like, I mean, I might as well just tell you, we were outside of Fenwick Island. You could look it up, so I guess I'm not betraying anything. So we drove to the concert, and we're there. It's like in a field. And average age of the person in the crowd is 95 years old. Me being there, I brought the average age down by like 35 years. There's nobody's young. Nobody's young. Even my mom, I went with my mom, and like before we leave, she's like, go get dressed, we have to leave. And I'm like, okay, before we go, you want to listen to a Bacon Brothers song? And I literally put a Bacon Brothers song on Spotify, and she listened to it for 15 seconds. And my mom's the sweetest person in the world. I don't think she likes to like insult people. And she goes, oh, well, they suck. We'll leave at 7. We don't need to make it the whole night. Like, she just flipped. It's not a great band. I think they know they're not a great band because Kevin Bacon has stories about how nobody will, like every movie he's made for the last 20 years, he's tried to get a Bacon Brothers song in, and it's never once been accepted. He said, none of our music has ever appeared anywhere other than our Spotify page. And you look at their Spotify page, you're like, oh my God, how is this? How does Kevin Bacon have less views than me and this podcast? Like, nobody cares about the Bacon Brothers, but I think what happens is word of mouth spreads. 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. Someone's like, apparently Kevin Bacon has a show happening 10 minutes from here tonight. And people are like, what, am I not going to go see what Kevin Bacon's band is? And halfway through, people are like, okay, we can. People were clearing out of the Bacon Brothers. I mean, look, I'm ruining any chance I ever have of being in a Kevin Bacon flick. But here's the thing, I will say this. Kevin Bacon has, I think we rated it 6.5 out of 10 stars, talent-wise. Like, he's got talent. He has more talent as an actor, I would say. But Michael Bacon, Michael Bacon needs, to have had a better life. That's the only thing he needs artistically. He doesn't need, I think his musical talent is fine. He's doing fine for a guy who's like 80 and maybe hates his brother, Kevin Bacon. I can't tell. Maybe they had a big fight when they were younger, and this is like Kevin's way of making it up to Michael. I don't know. In all honesty, it does seem like they have a lot of fun together on stage. So it's probably, me and my brother, we were talking all week about like, let's get a business going together. And after the Bacon Brothers, I was like, let's start a band. One of us needs to become famous so that it can justify the other person not being that good in the band. But we should get a band. That's a great family business. Like the Osmonds, the Partridge Family, the Jackson 5, remember them? That's I think the most important thing to have a band like that is have a father that kicks the living shit out of you when you're 8. Do you guys remember, did you ever watch the Jackson 5 V8, like true story behind the music? And it's Joe Jackson just beating the fuck out of his kids. And then everybody's like, he's so good. Like, I remember when Michael Jackson died, Joe Jackson was at his funeral, and not fucking Al Sharpton, who's the other guy? Who's the other black preacher? He ran for president. Oh, Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson's like eulogizing Michael Jackson. He didn't mention any kid fucking, which is probably good. You probably don't want to mention that if a pedophile dies, you don't, at the funeral at least, you don't bring up like he also couldn't stop having sex with little boys. Like that's an edit out thing. So he didn't say that. And then when he's bringing up Joe Jackson, he goes, okay, and I'm going to, it's time to bring up Joe. I don't want to bring him up late because you know what happens if you're late when you're doing something with Joe Jackson. And the whole crowd like laughs. And I'm like, yeah, I know what he does. He beats the fuck out of his entire family. That's what he does. That's not a joke. What the fuck are you thinking, Jesse Jackson? Is insane. Look, Michael Jackson, Thriller, great songs. I'm an off-the-wall guy myself. But kid fucking does put a damper on it a little bit, doesn't it? That's not like a cancel culture thing. That's a fucking little kids thing. That's totally reasonable to be like, I remember at my wedding, we were like, do we want to play Michael Jackson music? And I was like, well, on the pro side, it's great music. On the con side, he couldn't stop banging little boys. Maybe no. If I'm going to listen to Michael Jackson, I do it in the quiet of my own workout, I just don't want to be dancing at my wedding thinking about, what happened to Blanket. I don't know if he did it to his own kids. This is getting dark. We don't got to talk about this anymore. But anyway, 3 bands. If I had to rank them, I'd go Blink-182, probably Bacon Brothers, and then my friend's cover band. But my friend's cover band was still pretty good. They hit us with some Chili Peppers. They hit us with a little bit of Blink, because we were going to go see the show later that night, so there was some Blink songs. Basket Case by Green Day. 90s cover band. Yeah, I'll be honest. I was like watching. I was like, I need to take some fucking singing lessons. I need to get myself in a cover band. That seems fun. And then I was like, I don't get enough stage time as a stand-up. I need to add on another thing that I'll make no money doing. Take all the money you make from stand-up, now divide it by 4, so your bass player's happy. And imagine every stand-up show you have to now break down equipment for 2 hours afterwards. Yeah, that sounds fun. But I think that's everybody. Everybody in comedy wants to do music. Everybody in music wants to do comedy. And if I can find a way in my life to set up a scenario where I can do both in a mediocre way, where I will never get paid, that's really the true key to happiness. Find the thing you love to do and do it to a level where you have to spend money and you never see a financial benefit. How do you say Kamala Harris's name? because I feel like I've been yelled at by both ways. It's Kamala. I don't know. I feel like I want your feedback, but you can't give it because that's a camera I'm talking to and you're not here. So throw down in the comments in YouTube the actual pronunciation of Kamala Harris, like what emphasis on what syllable goes where. I don't even know how you would write that, but you guys do. Throw it in the comments. Do that, or throw your favorite memory of taking shrooms, and I'll pick one comment, and I'll give you $100. I watched a YouTube video where a guy like just gives away shit in the comments. And I'm like, that's smart. I don't have any money to give away stuff. I'm not really going to give anybody $100, but fuck it. Let's try it. Throw in the comments any word that exists in the human language, and I'll pick one of you and I'll give you $100. I won't, but just pretend I will and do it. And maybe I'll give you $10. I don't even know. I don't even know how to click on people's info and contact them. Maybe you got to send them a message on YouTube or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But either way, support is appreciated. I will say this is the last thing, and then I'm going to head out of here because I'm keeping this to 30 minutes, all right? I don't want to go long on these bad boys because I start to lose my mind. 40 minutes in, I'm saying things I'm like, I don't even believe that. Why did I do an hour by myself? But I had one of the sweetest negotiation moments of all time. I'm so proud of myself. So on the ride back, I had gotten a seat in 15C on Delta. This is like a red-eye flight. And 15C is like 2 rows in front of where you get extra legroom. Extra legroom is like $149 per ticket. And I was flying solo, so just me. And I'm sitting down, I'm plugging my phone, waiting for them to start boarding. I'm in boarding group 5 because I never, I like to do my shit at the airport. I'm not going to go on my phone and like text you that I'm fucking coming on the flight. Fuck you. I check in at the airport at the little robot machine, and I have a lady come help me because I get scared of things. I don't like technology, and I don't like texting that I'm going to be somewhere. So I'm in boarding group 5, and I got my bag with me. I got a carry-on and a stowable, personal item. And they get on the mic and they're like, if you want to take some of your luggage and check it now, you can board in group 2. And in my head, I was like, that's not fucking worth it. You get on the plane 20 minutes early. You got to go, then wait to get your bag when you get to the airport. Fuck that. That's a bad offer. Why would they offer that? And then as I'm saying offer, I'm going like, offer? What about a counter offer? So I got an idea in my head. I waited until the little thing came on. It said 5 minutes to board. And people started to line up. I counted. Only 3 people came up to check their bags, pre-check their bags. And one of them was a stroller. So they were going to fucking have to pre-check that shit anyway because you're not going to fit that in the overhead comfortably. So I go up and I say, hey, it's okay if the answer is no. But if there's a way to stay in an aisle seat but get upgraded to extra legroom, I would happily check my bag now. Win-win. And the lady goes, I don't know if we can do that. And I go, that's okay. Just wanted to offer it. If you can, happy to check my bag now. And she goes, let me see. Here you go. New ticket. Check my bag, tag, extra leg room the whole way to LA. $149 value. I'm sitting like a king. And then I get to LA. My bag was like on the carousel when I came back. There was no extra weight. A fucking $149 ticket upgrade for just checking the bag. And it's not checked like at the front of the airport. It's checked like as you're getting onto the plane, you just drop it by the side. So they're not going to lose it. Dude, I fucking crushed that negotiation. That lady wasn't ready for a negotiation. I don't think any of those ladies at Delta are ready for someone to come up and spit fire like that. So, fuck, I don't know. Maybe I'm ruining it by telling people. Luckily, 5 people listen to this fucking podcast, but try it. If you got some balls on you, go up there. The next time they offer to fucking, you want to check your bag for free, be like, I'll check my bag for an upgrade. I'll check my bag for extra leg room. I don't think they'd ever move you up to first class. But I went from 15C to 11C. And 11C is a world away from 15C. I could hear those fat motherfuckers in 15C struggling with no leg room. I can't afford to buy legroom every time, but I can negotiate it. And now that I think about it, that wasn't my only negotiation. I had a second negotiation because my brother cooked steak at the beach house one night and there was no A1 sauce. I need A1 sauce. Sue me, okay? We've had this fight on the podcast before. My mom was like, you can put an A1 on a sock and whatever. I like it. I like A1 on steak. If I go to like a nice, fine dining restaurant where it's $90 for a steak, yeah, I won't douse it in A1 sauce. They don't even have A1 sauce there. And my brother's an amazing cook. I'm not saying he's not an amazing cook. But if my brother's cooking steak, I'm putting A1 sauce on it, okay? I'm sorry. I'm not at fucking Morton's, okay? It's a steak cooked by my brother. I'm getting A1 sauce. And there's none. So we're about to eat in like 10 minutes. I'm like, where do we go? I'm like, there's a X7-Eleven style shop right by the road in this beach town that we're at. We're at Fenwick Island, okay? And I'm like, okay, fuck it. I put on my shoes. I run out. I'm like, I'm going to try to get A1 sauce. And I go. My stepdad was with me because he needed something else at the shop. And there's no A1 sauce. They have everything else other than A1 sauce. They have like fucking fire nacho, macaroni and cheese, Cheez-Its flavor. And I'm like, why don't you get rid of this fucking nuclear holocaust of a meal and get some A1 sauce? They had nothing for sauce. They had mustard, ketchup, and like shit. No A1. So we're like, all right, fuck it. And we're walking back. There's one little restaurant on the corner, and I go, I bet I can walk in there and just get a bottle of A1 sauce. And my stepdad's like, no, you can't. And I'm like, here we go. Walk in, and here's what I say. Apparently, this is my line. My line is always like, it's okay if the answer is no. This is a crazy ask. But I have celiac disease. My brother, we live right across the street. I could throw a rock at our place, and there's no sauce I can use for my food. I was wondering if I could get a little bit of A1 sauce, and I'll come back here and eat dinner because we were planning on doing it anyway. Totally make it up to you guys. And the hostess goes, let me check with my manager. Goes over to the manager. He runs in the kitchen, grabs me a bottle of A1. Bring it out of the restaurant right here. Bam. I talked myself into a free bottle of A1 sauce and an upgrade on a Delta flight just by using the good old, it's okay if the answer's no, but I've got a crazy thing to ask. He just flashed these baby blues right here. And that's why I took off my sunglasses before. I didn't want to hide them. But that's how it's fucking done. These are my closing glasses right here. I put these bitches on when I get what I fucking want. So anyway, successful weekend. I don't know if getting the A1 sauce was like the highlight over Blink, because Blink was great, spending time with my family. Getting to play with my niece, and she's 8 months old, so I feel like the personality is starting to like come. You're seeing her personality. I just think my sister's doing such a beautiful job of raising this kid, and it's like you can just tell that this kid knows love, and this kid has emotional stability because my sister's providing that, and that was a beautiful thing. But that doesn't hold a candle to how I felt with the A1 sauce. The A1 sauce was absolutely the greatest moment of my life. Not even close. When my wife gives birth to our child and the finger goes around mine and I feel the grip of a being that I've created, I'm just going to be thinking about fucking A1 sauce in Fenwick Island at that Nantucket bar. That's where I was. Now you can find me whenever you want. All right, I'm going to go downstairs and yell at Meredith and Liz for listening to this fucking Spielberg movie too loud. What's it called? Close Encounters of the Third Kind? That's what I couldn't say at the beginning of the podcast because I was so goddamn flustered. Anyway, if you, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not getting paid for anything. But see Blink if you haven't gotten tickets yet because there were seats left for the show that I was at Capital One Arena on the 27th. And they still got multiple dates on the One More Time tour. It fucking ruled. If you want to really have a good time, take a little bit of shrooms and then watch Aliens Exist with green lasers coming at you, and you'll have a really nice time. It'll be really fun. And thank you guys for listening. No joke, it does help when you throw stuff in the YouTube comments. So you tell me, what are you more impressed with? Upgrade on Delta or free A1 sauce from Nantucket's in Fenwick Island? I'd like to know your thoughts. What was a bigger win for me? Thank you for listening. Next week, we'll have a guest on the podcast. Haven't booked him yet, so it might be me grabbing my wife last minute to come up here or another solo. We'll see. But whoever it is, they'll be great. And if they're not here, I'll be great. So just don't sweat it. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll catch you next week.